Over 90% of drivers never realize how quietly and slowly their engine performance is being robbed until it's too late. Misfires, a rough idle, sluggish acceleration, and fading fuel efficiency are all subtle signs that something is going wrong under the hood. And more often than not, the root of the problem is hiding in plain sight: dirty fuel injectors. What's worse is that these issues usually start well before any warning light ever flashes on the dash. No alarms, no obvious smoke signals, just a quiet fade in performance that most people don't even notice until it's affecting their wallet. But here's the part that gets overlooked. You don't need to rip the engine apart, spend a fortune at the shop, or even remove a single bolt to fix it. There's a smarter, simpler way to tackle this, and it's been quietly used in Japan for years. A low-effort method that restores fuel injector health, and most drivers could do it today without breaking a sweat. Now, where do most people go wrong? It starts with those little bottles of fuel system cleaner sold at gas stations. Everyone's seen them, bright labels, big promises. Most drivers grab one, dump it into a full tank of fuel, and call it a day. That's like eating one green vegetable and expecting a six-pack the next morning. Doesn't work like that. To get real results, you need two things working together: the right chemical and the right method. And this is where that clever Japanese trick flips the game. Instead of pouring a bottle into a full tank and hoping for magic, the idea is to first run the fuel level down, low enough that the cleaner gets a chance to dominate the mix. It's all about concentration. A diluted cleaner is like weak coffee, barely effective, mostly wasted. But when that cleaner gets in strong, early, and undiluted, it starts breaking down the gunk that's choking the injectors. Think of the injectors like tiny nozzles trying to spray a perfect mist, but over time they get hit with layer after layer of microscopic sludge. That mist turns into a spray, then a dribble. The engine compensates, runs rougher, and your MPG starts to fall off a cliff. But send the right chemical mix through those nozzles at the right time, and suddenly that mist starts to come back. It's not magic, it's chemistry working the way it should have been all along. But there's another problem most drivers don't even consider: timing. Fuel additives aren't a fix-it button. They're part of a routine. Using them once after 80,000 miles of neglect is like brushing your teeth after years of eating candy and never flossing. The buildup is real, and it takes effort to undo. But stay consistent. Use the cleaner every oil change, not just when something feels off, and you're playing defense instead of emergency repair. This method isn't just about engine smoothness either. It's also about protecting the fuel pump, maintaining combustion balance, and even keeping sensors downstream from getting gummed up. When injectors stay clean, everything else breathes easier. It's a domino effect in the best possible way, and all of it starts with getting the basics right: concentrated cleaner, low fuel level, and a little consistency. The only ingredient proven to break down carbon inside injectors is polyethyramine, also called PEA. This compound doesn't just push debris around, it dissolves it. But most people unknowingly dilute it before it even gets a chance to work. Here's the trick. Don't add the cleaner to a full tank. Run the tank low first, then pour in the cleaner and follow it with just enough gas to get where you're going. That keeps the cleaner potent and effective as it flows through the injectors. And don't just do this once. Cleaning injectors isn't a one-time rescue mission. It's a routine. Doing this with every oil change gives your injectors the consistency they need to stay healthy. It's like brushing teeth. One time won't fix cavities, but regular care prevents them altogether. Let's say the problem isn't carbon. Sometimes injectors aren't so much clogged as they are gummed up. Sticky varnish forms when fuel sits too long. Maybe it's a car that only gets used on weekends or parked for months at a time. These aren't carbon issues, they're like dried syrup coating the inside of the injector. For this, a detergent-based additive can loosen and dissolve that film. Think of it as the dish soap your fuel system never got but desperately needed. And here's a trick some pro techs use for tougher jobs. Combine a detergent additive with a PEA-based cleaner, back-to-back, over a couple of tanks. One breaks down the sticky stuff, the other dissolves carbon. It's not overkill, it's just teamwork. But stick to trusted brands, read the instructions, and don't go rogue. More chemical doesn't mean more cleaning, it just means more problems. Think of it like a two-stage attack. The detergent works like a degreaser, softening and loosening the grime that's been baked on over months or years of light driving and cheap gas. Then the PEA comes in like a dissolver, breaking that mess into microscopic particles that can actually burn off or flush out with the fuel. It's a process, not an instant miracle, but when done properly, it restores flow rates inside the injector back to what the engine was designed for. Many people get tempted to mix multiple additives into a single tank, thinking it'll speed things up. That's like mixing every cleaning chemical under your sink and expecting your kitchen to sparkle. In reality, it can damage seals, confuse the ECU, or even create new deposits you didn't have before. It's not a cocktail, it's a treatment, and it only works when you follow the formula. Spacing out the two treatments also helps. Run the detergent additive first, get the fuel system primed and the sticky stuff softened. Then on the next tank, go in with the PEA-based cleaner. Let the carbon know its time is up. It's not just smarter, it's safer too. That way, the additives don't interfere with each other and you're not putting the fuel system through chemical overload. And don't forget, the quality of gas you use during these treatments matters. If you pair top-tier fuel with this back-to-back cleaning method, you're giving the system a double advantage. Good fuel provides the right combustion conditions to let the cleaner actually do its job inside the injector and the chamber. Bad fuel cancels out the whole effort. Drivers who treat their systems this way don't just see better mileage, they feel the difference. Cold starts improve, throttle response sharpens, the engine doesn't feel like it's fighting itself anymore. It's not subtle. And the best part? It's something anyone can do with a little patience and the right bottle. No tools, no lift, no shop time. This method has even been used to save vehicles that were headed toward full injector replacements. Engines that were sputtering, misfiring, and chewing through fuel were brought back to smooth operation with just 2 back-to-back tanks. That's the power of targeted chemical cleaning when it's done right. So skip the guesswork, follow the method, and give the engine what it needs. Not more, not less. Now, let's talk ethanol. Ethanol's weird. It's in most fuels these days, and it actually helps keep things clean, but it also acts like a sponge pulling water into the system. That water causes corrosion, and once corrosion hits the inside of an injector, that's a fast track to bad starts, rough idling, and a fuel pump that gives up early. If the vehicle sits unused for a while, maybe it's a boat, motorcycle, or a seasonal car, ethanol treatment is mandatory, not optional. Add it before parking the vehicle, let the engine run a few minutes to circulate, and it'll coat everything. No rust, no clogged injectors, no headaches when you try to start it next season. And if cheap gas is part of the picture, treat more often. Discount fuel tends to bring moisture along for the ride. That's not a myth, it's just reality. But even with all the right chemicals, sometimes injectors need a different kind of wake-up call. Ever heard of the Italian tuneup? It sounds like a joke, but it works. Modern engines live soft lives. Short trips, constant idling, babying the throttle. Engines never get hot enough to clean themselves anymore. And engines are designed to self-clean at high temps. Take the car on a spirited highway run, get the RPMs up, not redline, but elevated, and let the heat do its work. The combustion chambers reach the temps they were built for, carbon flakes off, injectors clear up, idle smooths out. It's like letting the engine sweat it out, but make sure fluids are topped off first. Weak oil or a tired cooling system doesn't like workouts. At some point, pouring chemicals into the tank stops being enough. That's when it's time to go hands-on. One of the easiest places to start is with the throttle body and intake. Over time, thick black gunk builds up on the intake walls and throttle plate. That gunk strangles airflow, ruins throttle response, and can make an engine feel like it's breathing through a pillow. Spraying a cleaner into the intake while the engine is running carefully can help clear that mess. It also lets a bit of that cleaner hit the backs of the valves and sometimes even the injectors themselves, depending on the engine design. But here's where things get interesting. This isn't just about cleaning for the sake of it. When airflow is restricted by all that grime, the car's sensors begin sending skewed data to the ECU. That means fuel delivery gets thrown off, idle becomes unstable, and in many cases, the engine starts compensating in ways that wear it down faster. What seems like a minor gunk problem can snowball into poor fuel economy, sluggish acceleration, and even a check engine light that won't go away. The good news? You don't need a professional rig or fancy setup to do this properly. A can of Throttle body cleaner, a basic understanding of your engine layout, and a few precautions are all it takes. Just make sure the cleaner is safe for sensors and won't leave behind residue. And always keep your hands clear of the throttle blade while spraying, especially if it's electronic. Those things can snap shut faster than you'd think. Once the cleaner starts moving through the intake, there's a noticeable change. The idle might stumble a bit, that's normal. It's just the engine burning off the dissolved gunk. Give it a few revs, let the cleaner do its thing, and after a couple of minutes, the engine begins to settle. That hesitation at takeoff starts to disappear, that weird vibrating idle evens out. It's like giving the engine room to breathe again. And don't be surprised if the exhaust smells a little off during the process. That's the carbon and residue getting vaporized. If there's a tailpipe, there's a smoke show, but it's temporary. What matters is how the engine behaves after. Cleaner throttle body, better air metering, smoother acceleration, and yes, even better fuel delivery, because when air gets measured right, fuel follows suit. On some engines, this method can even help knock loose the early stages of injector tip buildup, especially when paired with other treatments. It's not a full injector clean, but it's like clearing the path so the fuel can do its job without fighting dirty air every step of the way. And if the car's been idling rough or hesitating under load, this step alone can make a surprising difference. So while it may not be a silver bullet, it's a critical part of the bigger picture. The throttle body is a gatekeeper, and when it's choked up, everything else suffers. Clean it out, and suddenly the rest of the system has a fighting chance to work the way it was designed to. Don't overdo it. A few well-aimed bursts, give it time to work, and suddenly the engine breathes easy again. Do it in a well-ventilated area and absolutely don't have any flames or cigarettes nearby. Intake cleaner vapor is no joke. Now, if performance is still struggling after all that, there's a step up. Professional-grade cleaning kits that connect directly to the fuel rail. These don't mix with gasoline, they replace it temporarily. Pure cleaner runs through the injectors, mimicking fuel pressure. No dilution, just straight chemical power going through the system. But be warned, this isn't beginner-friendly. You're dealing with fuel pressure. Mishandle it, and things go sideways quickly. But done correctly, it revives injectors in a way bottles never could. Of course, not everyone's ready to work with pressurized fuel. That's where the professional shop service comes in. The same concept, injectors get fed pure cleaner through a special tool, but done by a machine that regulates pressure and flow with exact precision. It's safer, stronger, and delivers one of the biggest wow moments drivers ever get. Misfires vanish, idle turns smooth like velvet, and throttle response gets snappy again. And it costs way less than most people expect, especially when compared to replacing injectors, which can run into the thousands. For dirty injectors, not broken ones, it's a total game changer. Still, prevention always beats repair. And one of the most overlooked tricks? Just buying better fuel. Not premium, but top tier. There's a difference. Top tier stations like Chevron, Shell, Costco, and Mobil use more detergents than the minimum standard. Real, tested difference. Engines that run top-tier fuel are measurably cleaner, up to 19 times cleaner than those running bargain fuel. It's not hype, it's chemistry. Injectors that look nearly brand new at 150,000 miles. Meanwhile, engines running discount gas at 80,000 miles are already clogged, sputtering, and begging for service. And no, premium fuel isn't necessary unless the car calls for it. But regular grade from a top-tier station, that's a smart long-term investment. And now, the method that's usually reserved for dealerships and deep engine service calls. The carbon clearing machine, this isn't a bottle. It's not even a rail cleaner. This is a dedicated system that bypasses the gas tank entirely and force feeds industrial strength cleaner through every inch of the fuel system, from tank lines to injectors, valves to combustion chambers. No stone left unturned. It's the closest thing to a full fuel system reset without actually tearing down the engine. Injectors go from wheezing to wide open. Power returns. Idle goes from jittery to silky. Fuel economy climbs back. Customers drive away swearing the engine was rebuilt. It's that good. Do it every 30,000 to 50,000 miles and injectors will likely outlive the car. So here's the bottom line. Fuel injectors don't suddenly fail. They clog slowly, quietly, over years. And with the right steps, small, smart, consistent ones, any driver can clean and protect their injectors without removing a single bolt. From gas station chemistry to Japanese-inspired tuning tricks, these are real solutions that work. The only question now is, what's the next move? Want to know how to spot failing injectors before they start costing money? There are warning signs and they're easy to miss, but they don't have to be. Watch the next video to find out how to spot the hidden symptoms of clogged injectors that most drivers overlook. Catch them early and save yourself thousands in repairs. If this video helped even a little, give it a like. It tells the algorithm this info matters. And don't forget to subscribe if keeping your car running longer, smoother, and stronger sounds good to you.